Welcome to Unload and Show Clear, powered by Match Shark. Listener ready? Stand by.
Welcome to another episode of Unload and Show Clear, a podcast about the men and women who compete in IDPA matches around the world. I'm your host, Lloyd Bailey. IDPA, International Defensive Pistol Association, was formed out of the concealed carry movement back in the 1990s. It's based on the founders' desire for a sport based on real-world defensive skills and not just fancy equipment. IDPA matches are a series of stages that are based on realistic defensive scenarios, and they'll test the shooter's skills in gun handling, accuracy, speed, and problem solving. Men and women from around the world compete every week in IDPA matches, and here at Unload and Show Clear, we introduce you to those people. We talk one-on-one, people, not politics. These are not professional athletes. They're everyday men and women, your neighbors, your coworkers, public servants, your kids' teachers, and you're going to meet one of those great people today. And for 2020, Unload and Show Clear is powered by Match Shark. If you watch videos from last year's IDPA World Championship 2019, you will see that shooters had to deal with the discomfort of shooting in sometimes heavy rain. If you were at that match, or if you were with me at the 2019 Arkansas State match, you know how much fun it can be to shoot in the rain, especially heavy rain. Why do I say that? Well, pasting and scoring targets is not fun at all. Not only are you and your equipment soaked, not only are you cold and wet and damp and uncomfortable, but pasting and scoring targets makes your day even that much more fun. You can't see the scoring zones. The pasters and the tape won't stick to the targets. The targets ultimately will disintegrate because they get waterlogged and have to be changed more frequently. Well, contrast that Arkansas State match to the World Championship and compare the targets. There was a big difference. The difference was you had baggies on the Arkansas targets and you had Match Shark covering the World Championship targets. Match Shark's patent-pending target shields keep targets dry even in heavy rain. They're reusable too, so the cost of those shields is quickly recovered by simply patching and reusing them over and over and over again, because you're not shooting the shield, you're shooting the backer that holds the shield to the target stand. Well, once you're done, you just take the things off, slap a little paster on it. There's a tape paster that covers up the holes. Boom, you're set to reuse it over and over and over again. And it makes your staff happier because setup and scoring and tear down are so much easier. It makes your shooters happier because they can see the targets and they don't have to deal with plastic bags. They're designed and manufactured right here in the United States. They are owned and operated by two IDPA shooters themselves, people experienced in match direction and setup. Will and Chris Schmid, whom you've heard on this podcast, they understand the challenges that match staff face when dealing with wet weather. So let them help you run your matches faster and smarter and make it a better experience for your safety officers and your shooters. Visit matchshark.com today and get everything you need to be prepared for your next rainy day match. That's matchshark.com. Visit them today, matchshark.com. Our guest today is Match Director Bora Angel. He is the Match Director of the 2020 Tru-Glo Texas State IDPA Championship coming up on Memorial Day weekend in Whitewright, Texas. And I'm so glad to have you back on the show, Bora. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about the match. It's coming up Sunday, May 24th, Memorial Day weekend. Give us a little background on the match and the range where it'll be hosted.
Sure. So it is, as you mentioned, in Whitewright, Texas, at Mission 160 Range, which is the outdoor home of the Collin County IDPA. Collin County has been putting on IDPA matches, I believe, for 21 years or something to that fact. And we have been through, I believe we've been through quite a few ranges over the time. And this partnership with Mission 160 has been quite phenomenal, partially because the range is owned by a master level shooter who actually shoots with us, Kevin Harding. So he's been a great partner to work with. We see quite a bit eye to eye on what we want to do. So he have grown the range quite a bit over the years for us to be able to host our matches there, especially Texas State, instead of the Creston Triple C range in Creston, where we used to host Texas State, which is a little bit of a haul, as you know, from Collin County.
Right.
It's a great range from the perspective of both accessibility, but also the drainage and rocky flooring. So as you know, in Texas, every 15 minutes the weather changes, and we get a lot of rain. And some of the ranges, once it rains, you can't use them for a while. That's luckily not the case. Definitely not the case with Mission 160. So. And we've been pretty lucky so far for the last few matches. But as I mentioned, it's a pretty good partnership. Talk about great partnerships. Tru-Glo is returning as the title sponsor. They've been great to us last several years as the title sponsor. Again, this is one of those cases where the vice presidents of marketing for Tru-Glo and several other Tru-Glo employees are members of Collin County, and they shoot with us. So, I mean, when you can have sponsors and partners that are, that are so that are people you compete with, and you have the same passion, it kind of shows. And I hope you've seen that. So. We do have a new theme of so the 2020 Texas State theme is it's Olympic themed. We're playing off of the fact that 2020 is
right.
Olympics year, and as kind of playing off of the Texas as a golden standard. I don't know if you know, but last year I went to shoot the Swiss IDPA National Championships as a guest. So that was an amazing experience.
Right.
To shoot, the DPA match in a different country, and people look at Texas as, oh, everybody has guns, and and they kind of look at the IDPA matches because the Swiss National Championships was a tier 2, and Texas State is one of 4 tier 4 matches, I believe, in the state, or
right.
now I can't keep track, but so I mean that's such a huge difference, right?
Right.
To some degree, rightly so. Like when we tell them that, hey, Collin County, we do 7 to 8 matches a month, and they their eyes kind of open up wide.
Exactly.
Right? So
when I went back to North Carolina to shoot the North Carolina match in 2017, and I was hanging around with some of the people that I knew and shot with before we moved to Texas, and I was telling them about Collin County and about just the shooting culture in the Metroplex, and they were, I was talking about how many matches you could shoot, 5 or 6 matches a week if you wanted to dedicate yourself. And they were like, well, I know where I'm going to be. I know where I want to retire. So,
yep.
Collin County has now, Collin County IDPA, one of the oldest clubs in the nation. You are match director and the vice president of the club. And you guys have, this will be the 3rd straight year with a major match, correct? At this at this facility. Yes.
We started 2018 North Texas Regional. That was a tier 3 that we revived. We're kind of planning on any year that we don't do a Texas State, we'll do a North Texas Regional. But then, that was kind of a prep for being able to host Texas State at that range, and with obviously new management. So we did that for the first time at 160 last year, and it went phenomenally well, but even better than I could hope for. So said, okay, we're going to do it again for 2020. And the tough part was, when you do so well, how do you improve on it? So and I hope that we're definitely going to be improving on it.
Well, I did not get to compete in last year's Texas State. I was able to shoot the North Texas Regional, which was fantastic. So how do you improve on when you put on a great match, like you did with the North Texas Regional 2 years ago? What did you do to make it better for Texas State beyond the fact that it went from a tier 3 to a tier 4? What's bigger and better? And then how do you improve on last year? Because the reviews that I've heard from those who shot the match are glowing.
So we definitely do an after action report very shortly after the match, and basically sit down with Kevin as the range owner and the rest of the board and people who were instrumental in running the match. And we have a lot of feedback from the shooters who shot the match about what worked and what didn't work. And as you know, IDPA shooters are not necessarily shy about letting you know what they liked and what they didn't like. So, but it's totally okay with that. So we actually take those into account, and basically planning starts the day after the match.
Right.
So, Texas State, the day after 2019 Texas State, we were sitting there planning on what we're going to do different and how we're going to improve for 2020. So a lot of those go in, some of the things like basically serving lunch after we're done shooting and having snacks available, the type of snacks that we're going to have available, all of those are kind of similar and not exactly changing. But the way I was looking at it, okay, so how do you improve on this? There's a few small things about who shoots when that we're kind of tweaking. But I mean, I was kind of looking at it, and my thing is like, well, you got to go, bigger and better. Right. That's kind of right. So we're going to have more props. We're going to have lots more steel. We're going to have a few new props, and a couple of the controversial props that we have used are not going to be there this time. I know some people definitely will not be missing them. It's just, we used them twice, and I couldn't really come up with a good way to use them, and it was just okay. Well, they'll sit out this time. They might return in the future, but we have new sponsors, so we're going to have more prizes. I think we're going to have more guns on the prize table than last time. It was, and we're probably going to have guns from 4 or 5 at least different companies. So it's not going to be all, let's say, Springfields or something like you see in some matches or we have done in the past.
Right.
So another thing is, tying in with as part of this being the Olympic theme is we actually have more international safety officers at the match than the World Championships. So we're going to have safety officers from Turkey and Switzerland actually in the match.
Wow. Working
the match. And that's kind of part of our trying to grow. And that was something I realized. I mean, the Swiss guys did amazing for them for it being their first, that club's being first time running the Swiss national championships. But, some of them have shot a tier 4 match, I think, before. Well, I believe in the United States, but none of them have ever worked a match that big. So that's kind of that experience is pretty difficult for outside of the United States to attain. So as I was kind of inviting them to come shoot the match, and I thought about it for a second, I was like, how great would it be if they can actually be part of our match and, learn what it means to run 200 plus shooters through your bay in a matter of a day or so. Right. So,
amazing.
And then of course, along with that, there's a lot of, we have a lot of international shooters that will be coming in to the match. So that's pretty exciting too.
Very cool. Yeah, I was impressed by, even at the 2 years ago at the North Texas Regional, people from overseas found out about the match, flew in and shot this little match in this range in the middle of nowhere in Texas, and had a great time. Mm. And how do you go about getting the word out? It's beyond just putting it out on the IDPA website and out on Practice Score, but How do you get the word out? Hey, come to see this match. You're going to love it.
Well, as you know, I recently went through a job change around the same time that I was trying to compete in World Championship. So
No distractions.
to be honest, yeah. So to be honest with you, we didn't get to do nowhere as much publicity as I would have liked to for 2020 Texas State. But apparently the word gets out. Apparently people have been talking. So because right now, with over 3 months to go, we're somewhere around there. We have 220 shooters, I think, registered. So we only have about 20 spots left.
Nice.
And I'm pretty sure by the end of the month we're going to be at a wait list. So apparently the word got out, even though we didn't get to kind of publicize it as much. And some of the and that's kind of the thing. It's kind of interesting. It's not just like when I was looking at the distribution of shooters. Apparently word got out because in an interesting way, because I noticed that we have over 90 experts and masters in the match off of the 220 registered. So
wow.
Yeah, I was looking at how many bumps we're going to have the master as part of this match. So it was we're looking at bumps and carry optics and CDP, and see how difficult it is to get a bump. It used to be in CDP. So we have, I believe, 14 experts and 4 or 5 masters in CDP, which is, I'm not sure when was the last time I saw those numbers outside of a World Championship. So
right. Outside the World Championship and Sheepdog, it doesn't get, that's pretty amazing. So you've got 12 stages planned.
Yeah.
200 rounds minimum.
Mm-hmm.
What can shooters expect in those 12 stages?
Well, let me kind of clarify this. They don't allow zombie stages. We can't have mythical creatures as part of the scenarios. So let's just say that we won't have a stage all headshots again. But knowing me, I'm going to make up for that in at least one stage. That there's going to be at least a couple of stages that people are going to walk in and go, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that." Well, that's at least what was I believe the feedback I got when I sent my stages into the headquarters was. But it's we're going to have, like I said, most of the stages have the Olympic theme going, which wasn't easy. But the car stage, I like to have a car stage. That one actually, bigger and better. We have more than one car this time.
Ooh.
So, there's that. We have gotten, like I said, new props. And so, as I mentioned, we're going to have more steel in stages. We're going to have some props that we haven't used before in a sanction match, that in kind of creative ways. So, as you probably know, I like to some degree, I like to have a balanced match, but to some degree, it's a tier 4 match, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to push some of the shooters past their comfort zone, right? I mean, to me, that's the point of a major sanction match.
Right.
So I believe in your podcast, I heard quite a bit of some of the 2017 Texas State stages that I've did.
Mm-hmm.
With the activator and the separating props being in different shooting positions, that might return. I don't know, but it's going to be in a different way,
right?
So I mean, it's kind of actually difficult because my wife was looking over some of the scenarios I wrote down, and she was just shaking her head, and I'm like, but it's. As a match director, you're trying to put something different, right?
Right.
It's just, who wants to see the same old, same old? So,
Exactly. You can only do the ATM stage,
exactly,
so many times.
exactly. So, and I had I have a assistant match director this year, Bruce Veste. So he designed some of the stages. We have a stage that was the original idea came from Wolf, who I think was on your show before.
Yep. Wolf Laughlin.
So yes, and he had a great idea, and I kind of took it a little, ran with it, and we'll see how that's going to turn out. So there's probably going to be a little bit more moving than previous matches. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about it, actually.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, what you talked about, for those who are familiar with Texas weather, how it changes every 15 minutes. What can shooters expect from the weather in North Texas Memorial Day weekend usually?
Last year it was perfect. Everybody packed up and left about 4:00, and we got a downpour at 4:30. So, and so we're kind of locked out. We actually we are in the middle of coming up with some plans at the moment. So we'll be using either one or the other type of rain resistant targets. So even if we're hoping that even if we get some kind of rain, we know the footing is going to be okay. We're not going to have mud everywhere.
Right.
But I don't want to, I despise the laundry bags on targets.
Mm-hmm.
So we're actually going to have targets on hand, or either target shields or water resistant targets, to make sure that even if we had a little bit of a sprinkling at that, we'll still have a fun match.
Whitewright is a little off the beaten path. What are accommodations like for those who are coming from out of town?
So we're going to have a match. I believe we're using the same match hotel. It's going to be in either Ellen or McKinney. I can't remember right now. But the good news is from, Ellen or both Ellen and McKinney. So, well, let's put it this way. You can fly into DFW, one of the busiest airports, or you can fly into Love Field. So from there, hotels at McKinney are plenty of the area. And from there, being able to get to Mission 160 is pretty easy. It's probably a 25-minute drive, maybe.
Right.
And then they're actually working on turning that part of 121 into a toll road. So it's, relatively easy drive at the moment. I believe the match hotel, is on the website on
Best Western Plus McKinney
right.
Inn and Suites.
Yeah, and there's lots of. I think there's a Whole Foods really close by. There's lots of restaurants around there. I know the spouses look forward to. There's apparently a pretty popular outlet mall or somewhere close to there, so they can go do their shopping when the husbands are shooting the match.
Right.
So yeah, the area obviously has quite a bit to offer. So it's not going to be as remote as many of the ranges, and relatively easy to get to.
Right. Good deal. Let's see. Match fees $110 and meal afterwards, correct?
Correct. Yes. Again, we're not going to interrupt the flow of the match and give you guys a carb or fat coma to tank your performance in the last several stages. We stole that idea, and that's one thing we do, right? I shot 12 sanctioned matches last year. I'm not shooting as many this year, and I work and shoot a lot of sanctioned matches. Anytime we see a great idea, like I believe this one was from one of the Arkansas clubs, we thought it was the greatest idea. Who wants to, have the fried bologna sandwich, as Adam likes to call it, for a coma and for lunch. So, and I believe we had amazing desserts and barbecue available last 2 years. I believe we're doing something similar, but definitely afterwards. And so when people are essentially eating after the match, that we're hopefully everything will go as smoothly as last year. We have a range-wide wireless network for our practice score application. So by the time people are done finishing their food, the scores are posted for review. And as people are kind of reviewing their scores, we go ahead and get started with the prize table drawing. So it kind of cuts down on a lot of just waiting around.
Yep. It went really well at the North Texas 2 years ago. We were sitting down to eat, and the scores were posted. So, fantastic.
I have a great team at the Stat Shack. They do an amazing job. They stay on top of everything. We have plenty of extra tablets. We're going to have lots of tablet shields and extra batteries, and we've gotten pretty decent at the use of practice score. Where I'm actually constantly getting the reports on how the stages or matches are running. So if I have to be at a stage I think last year, one of the stage squads was lagging behind everybody else. So I think myself and Anthony, our state coordinator, we literally went over there and realized that okay, they need help pasting. So both of us actually started pasting targets, and everybody is kind of looking at us like, where's the match director pasting targets? Well, they needed help there. So, and I think to be able to get them to catch up, we actually split off part of the squad and walked them to the next stage,
right?
Because the next bay was open, the next stage was open. So the people who got done shooting, we immediately walked them on to the next. So I mean, that's the analytics features of practice score actually helps us see that kind of stuff and react to it relatively quickly. So all helps us run a better match.
Absolutely. All right, we'll have all of the links for information about the match in the show notes for this show. So you'll have the link to IDPA, the link to the Collin County IDPA website, and the link to practice scores so you can register. Registration is open now, closes April 24th, but you'll probably be running into wait lists by the end of the month. So register now if you're interested in shooting this outstanding match. Before we wrap up, Bora, any thank yous or shout outs that you'd like to give?
Obviously, the guys at Tru-Glo, they've been great partners. Jeff McNeil and his team, our sponsors, Team at Jonic and Century Arms, and all of the other ones I can't really think of the top of my head right now, but they've been great. As I mentioned, Mission 160 and Kevin have been phenomenal, and we always got to thank Cody for leaving behind a club that has so many safety officers and such a great culture that while other matches have been looking for staff to run their match, I had spares and I'm having to turn down staff just because CJ and Cody have done such a great job with growing the culture where we have so many safety officers and chief safety officers in our match. So if we wanted to, we could literally staff the entire Tier 4 match from our own club.
Nice problem to have, and that's
exactly.
And that's Cody Ray and CJ Brzezinski. Awesome group of guys. It's going to be, I have no doubt it will be an awesome match based on the local matches that the club puts on and the history that this club has in putting on sanctioned matches in the past, and the stages that I've had to endure that Bora designed. I know it's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Looking forward to the match, and good luck as we run up to the match on Memorial Day.
Thank you very much for having me on and to talk about the match. Like I said, I'm extremely excited and looking forward to seeing 200 of my closest friends there. Or 240 of my closest friends there.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your support. Thank you to our guest for coming on the show. And thank you to our awesome sponsor, Match Shark, for making this entire season possible. If you would, please take a minute to check out our website, Unload Podcast. Lots of cool previous episodes are there, links to all sorts of great information. Just check out the guest list as well. Join the Facebook group too if you want to connect with other fans and get updates on the latest news. You can find that at unloadpodcast.com/Facebook. Check out our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of cool videos there at unloadpodcast.com/YouTube. And if you'd like to support the show personally, consider becoming a patron, just $1 a month at patreon.com/unload. And for your support, I'll send you out a sticker and you'll have my undying gratitude for your help. If you or someone you know would make an interesting guest for a future episode, you can contact me at unloadpodcast.com. Just go to the contact button in the menu at the top of the page and send me a message. Or you can send me an email at Lloyd, LLOYD, at unloadpodcast.com. Tune in again next Thursday for another episode of Unload and Show Clear, powered by Match Shark. We are a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Be sure to check out all of the other pro-freedom podcasts at selfdefenseradio.net.